Hello, my name is Leo Bordeaux,
My name is Kyle Trefny.
and our research project is titled LGBTQ Rights, the Push and Pull for Progress in China. Before we begin, we want you to think for a moment of someone in your life that's openly a part of the LGBTQ community. It may even be you.
We ask this because openness is far rarer for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and in other ways queer people in China. Despite the PRC having one of the largest populations and largest queer communities, the UN estimates only 5% of Chinese queer individuals are out to friends and colleagues, and only 15% to close family.
With our research, we sought to find out why so many people don't feel comfortable being open about their identities and what governmental, social, and historical factors led to this disparity.
We began by reading human rights reports, news articles, and legal cases. This introduced us to leading figures advocating for China's queer community. We managed to conduct interviews with several of these top experts and advocates, including Zhou Dan, Yang Yi, and a representative for Bin Xu. Our results are the fruits of this effort.
The first result is the history that led here. China has had many eras, each with different cultural norms. One of these cultural norms used to be homosexuality, so long as it didn't interfere with the continuation of a bloodline. As Zhou Dan mentions, for a long time there was no anti-gay religion prevalent in Chinese history. We have no deeply seated biblical hatred against homosexuality. In fact, just like the gay relationship shown in the story of the cut sleeve, nearly all Han Dynasty emperors openly had both male partners and wives. However, what was considered sexual diversity became sexual deviance as external cultural influences from an Indian Buddhist text, the Mongols, and Western countries introduced laws and social opinions against LGBT rights. The CCP has promoted the position of 不支持,不反对,不提倡, which means not encouraging, not discouraging, and not promoting, which justifies the suppression of conversation about LGBTQ issues. On the internet, references to homosexuality and scientifically accurate language for genitalia have been banned. Additionally, there are regulations dictating that self-publishers need an official license to publish about current affairs. But what qualifies as current affairs? Surely, anything concerning LGBTQ experiences could. The vagueness of such restrictions create uncertainty and self-censorship in journalists and other internet creators. This limits education, another key facilitator of public acceptance. These issues extend to formal education, as teaching materials have listed homosexuality as an illness, conversion therapy as a cure, and the transgender identity as a mental disorder. Though some legal cases have been won concerning these classifications, there is still a large amount of misinformation in education.
Thirdly, we want to address China's governing and legal system. In the US, we have a common law system, where Supreme Court decisions hold binding precedent. When judges decide it is unconstitutional to ban homosexual conduct, as they did in 2003, they effectively create a national binding law legalizing it. But high judges in China don't have that power. Yang Yi explained, "My partner," he said, "decided to take conversion therapy. We knew it was total BS, so we sued the clinic. It was selected by the Supreme People's Court, and we won. It was the first anti-conversion therapy case in China, but because of our system, one case cannot change the law. Although the judge's statements say conversion therapy is illegal, it still hasn't become a law. So if courts cannot make laws, who can? In the US, states and cities can set their own laws if they don't violate Supreme Court decisions. But we learned in China this power is exclusive to the National People's Congress. Zhou Dan emphasized to us why that's significant. 70% of Americans lived where gay marriage was allowed before it was made nationally legal by the Supreme Court in 2015. Gay marriage had built legal momentum on the local scale first. But in China, the only threshold is the National Congress. It's really hard to pass national freedoms without a ladder to get there. Together with censorship and cultural stigma blocking the way, the struggle for LGBTQ rights and the willingness to come out in China faces more obstacles than in many countries around the world. As evident in our history section, external powers can influence social opinion and policy in China. Currently, strides for LGBTQ rights such as gay marriage have been made in Taiwan and are rising in Japan. Future research should consider how stances in these governments, as well as China's non-democratic allies, affect their will to change domestic policy.
Concerning his outlook on the amount of freedom in China, Yang Yi explained that as a person who lives in a country without democracy, without freedom, it is very difficult to have a feeling of what freedom is. We just think not having it is a part of the world. This limited outlook makes the vision of LGBTQ activists like those we spoke to vitally for the path ahead. Just as in most countries today, younger generations are growing more accepting in both legal progress and the amount of people willing to come out in their social lives or livelihoods. For the LGBTQ people in your life, coming out might not have been a viable option without hard-fought social and legal support. It's critical to continue this effort for freedom here in the US and in countries around the world. And we want to give a special thanks to Matthias Vogel and the Global Engagement Arc for guidance and support, to Zhou Dan for insights and connection to advocates, and Yang Yi, Bin Shu, and their representative for Bin Shu for their thoughtfulness and time.
And thank you for listening to this presentation.